Okay guys, we got a F350 7.3 diesel. We got to replace the upper ball joints and lower ball joint. So I'll walk you through on how pretty simple it is. I've got the caliper already taken off. I just took the caliper and the housing all together as one and set it up on the leaf spring. And now I took the castle nut off the upper ball joint. And I'm just getting everything apart here. Alright, so we're going to work our way to taking the hub off. So to take the hub off, it's pretty simple. Just a pair of pliers or clips or anything, and I'll show you the snap ring. Pretty simple. Just push these two together and it holds the hub on. So, and then after that we just pull the hub right out like so, and there's a washer back here. So grab your clip screws and we just got to spread it apart. Oh, come on. Can't use these ones that are angled. Okay, got my cheap set here. And the cheap set does the job. So now it's just a big washer. Alright. Just not being nice. Come on out. Now it's like a fiber washer, this thing. The grooves face outward. Okay, so now on the back side, you can probably see we got to get the bearing out now. On the back side of the bearing there's 4 nuts, and I believe they're 19 mil. Okay guys, the wheel bearing nuts are 21 mil. And we'll just get our Johnson bar on here. Just gonna put this in a position that I can get them cranked off. Make sure it's in all the way. Oh yeah, it's tough. Okay guys, I just put some WD-40 on these back bolts of the wheel bearing. So it's a 21 mil. You're gonna have to use a small extension. Slow. Ah, perfect. loosen one more. Alright. Now we got that pretty much all loose with the Johnson bar. I'll go with a 1/2 inch drive. So this bolt, one end goes into your wheel bearing, and that's actually a nut. It doesn't really matter either side, but you should replace these bolts. I informed my buddy Jack that he should get them replaced, but he chooses not to. Alright, now we just grab our 2-pound. Just gonna give her a couple whacks. Alright. Okay, we got movement now. And some good wiggle and then we're out. Alright, so there's our wheel bearing. Normally inside there's actually a seal, but the guy who he had taken this to, the last mechanic, forgot to put the seal in here. So we have to replace that too. And this is that seal here. So that's got to go in like so. And we're good as gold. And all that does is sit on top over the bearing like so. And what it does is it keeps your keeps everything from coming into your 4x4 system. And this actually in the center here, this seal actually spins, gives you a bit of movement. Okay, but on with the show. We gotta get this axle out. So get the axle out. It's pretty simple. I just grab my little pry bar. Okay, got my little pry bar here. I'm just prying in behind the knuckle. Oh, actually, this was easier than that. This one's actually just pulling right out. But if you can't, you just wedge a pry bar in behind, and you're actually prying it in behind here and prying it out. There's our axle. U-joints were already Well, they were supposed to be replaced, but these don't look like they've been replaced. They still sound greasy. Look good condition, so. And prepare to get black. Okay, so you guys remember I got the upper ball joint nut off. I think it was 1.25 inches if I recall correctly. Yep. Beautiful. Now I'll get my Johnson bar on that. Actually, I'll use the easy tool, and if I can find it, I'm going to turn my wheel. I need the distance. It's a shorter nut than the upper, so make sure you get a good down on it so it doesn't slip on you and break your wrist. And away we go. There we go. Usually not all that tight, but sometimes they are. That's most of the way. I'll get a just small ratchet on it. Come on, get my nut back. Okay, lower ball joint nut, junk pile. Right here we have our camber washer, and depending on the size of the washer, well, it's actually a sleeve. Depending on the size of the sleeve is how much it's going to allow your camber to come in and out. So we're going to mark this. We're going to just give it a scribe, and then we'll know exactly where it goes back. Alright guys, so we're just going to give the side of these a whack. We still have to take our tie rod end out. So actually I'll do that now. There we go. So now we're just gonna separate our a bunch of good whacks. Just make sure you don't accidentally hit that, because that is a pricey tie rod end. And we're loose. Now we're going to do the same to the upper and lower ball joint. we'll just give it a couple whacks. Hopefully you can see it well. Give a couple whacks on top. We don't have to worry because we're replacing it. The top is coming down. Alright. We're going to do bottom, a couple whacks. And there it is. Now this old jack stand I just used to prop up my tie rod end. Like so. I have to undo this little vent tube that is twist tied. Zip tied, let's see. Now we have to press out these pain in the butt upper and lower ball joint. Alright guys, so you'll have to bear with me. The light really sucks around here. We've got a C-clip going around our bottom ball joint first. You'll have to do the lower ball joint first. Go. As I said, the lighting really sucks over here. Alright, so there we go. Got our C-clip out. Just wait. Now we have to press out our ball joint. Now when you're using this, you got to realize it's not going to go as far because it is going to hit inside, okay? So I'll show you, once we get it broken loose and moving, I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to give it a squirt of penetrating oil. We got our socket on the end here, so we're just going to make sure it cracks loose. Sorry, just going to move you over a bit. Now she's tightening up, but it's under a lot of tension, and it doesn't seem to want to break loose. I'm just gonna give her a couple whacks with a hammer. That'll hopefully break up any tension. my C-clamp is actually spreading slightly, so there she goes. You hear that? It popped. Sorry about that. Move that down so you can see. Okay, I believe I've bottomed out on my C-clamp. When you guys go to rent one of these, or I own mine, but you can rent these for nothing. And as you see, it's a little shiny in there. It's because the end was bottoming out on this. So that's about as far as we can go, as you can tell. And then if you were to add the ring on bottom, got our new ball joints here. Got that all cleaned up. Just stand it up a bit. Actually took an hour off because the battery died in the camera, so let it charge for an hour just so you get the whole video. So as I said, you know, tie rod end, boot usually comes off, so I just put that aside. So we'll get this pressed in. So we're going to use the same one here. Just going to slap it right over like so. And as I said, you got to do this one first. Upper ball joint first. Putting it back. Basically reverse of what we were doing before. That looks good there. Got the rear ball joint here, like so. Now this one, you just like that. I gotta get the right receiving cup. So to make sure you got the right receiving cup, just anyone that fits in. So it can go over like that. Uh-oh. As you see, it doesn't fit. So we got something to improvise. Alright guys, we're going to be using this little cup here. This is about the only time you actually could use an extra set of hands, or you do it like I did before on the floor. Let's make sure they get centered. going to use this cup here, and because it's a little too fat to be able to put that in, I'm going to improvise and just use a steel plate. There we go. Now I can get the rest of the way in. Now we'll check to make sure there's no gap. Make sure it's all the way in. Yep. And there we go. All we gotta do now is get our snap ring on. Oh, we get our snap ring on. Just like so. Beautiful. So let's bring this back to the truck. Alright guys, we're back here with our knuckle. Just taking the nuts back off. Alright, so we're just going to be setting this up in and lower it down, get the tie rod in, then stuff it up, throw your bottom nut in to hold, just hand tight. There we go. Now we can get our crown nut on the upper ball joint. And I'm going to use my big one. That way I just don't have to put the adapter and everything on. Well, seems we're spinning on the bottom. Okay, so got my swivel, my adapter, and my socket, and an extension. Let's see if I can get this to spin real quick. Oh, wrong way. Sure it didn't come off all the way. Nope. Make sure you spin by hand. Don't want to be cross-threading anything. Alright. I think we got it tight so it's not going to catch, or so it actually pinched it, the cone shape. There we go. Alright, that's that. Gotta get our bearing back in. With the new seal. I'm gonna have to get the die grinder for this. It's just not being nice. I think because it was left off. I'm going to take this to the wire wheel. We ended up having way too much rust on it. Alrighty, so we sent it through the wire wheel. It's all nice and shiny now. Let's see if we can get that seal on now. Okay guys, with a lot of fighting, we got our seal on. So now we can put the whole thing in. Now you want to try and not drag the axle on the bottom of the tube. That should be it. Now we'll get our bearing in there. There we go. Okay. Now we can get some nuts started here. So what I'll do is I'll put cross, I'll put like bottom right and top left. Tighten them in just so it pulls in nice and even. Now the top one on this is the one that the bolt come out. There we go. So now we're just going to get it to pull in. Just tighten a little bit as soon as I see the bottom start pulling in like so. I'll go to the top over here. Get that pull in a little more. There we go. Just pulling in. That's tight. That's tight. So now we can get the other two cross ones on. Okay guys, so get our nut on here. Spin that up with an impact. What else we got? Weed through our disconnected ABS. We're gonna get the 4x4 hub in and the cording washer. There's the washer. Remember the divots were on the outside. Oop. Alright. We got our C-clip. And our 4x4 hub. So, and just our little clip. So, that's it. So I'll just get that tie rod tightened up. Lower ball joint grease fitting put in and greased. The upper's already in, so that's basically it. Throw the wheel back on and away we go. Alright guys, so it's a pretty simple job really. Yep, put our caliper back on, torque everything to specs, and that'll be it. Cheers. Okay guys, back together, all greased up and ready to go. F350 diesel power stroke. Alright, cheers guys. It was a good job.